Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing another one of those. I'm going to review a lot of products and I have not tried most of them. I had a lot of fun doing it last time, so I'm going to do it again. I'm going to be going back to the Ulta website. Last time I did e.l.f. Cosmetics. A lot of the products I haven't tried, but a couple I had, so I was able to kind of put a couple pieces together and hopefully kind of make a better picture of what products would work on certain skin types or certain styles or whatever. And so today we're going to go back to the Ulta website. I know that Ulta isn't available everywhere. Some of these brands do ship internationally, but this for US based folks is a little bit more accessible. I do also try to mention if I've seen it on the Walmart website because I know that they have a little bit more accessibility for people. But if you have a specific brand that you are interested in, um, that's a little bit harder if I haven't been able to have access to it because I am going from nothing. But sometimes you kind of get a feel for it if just by seeing it. So today we're going back to the Ulta website and let's go for it and see what brand that we're going to do. Okay, so now that we're in the Ulta website, it looks a little bit different. They're having a sale right now, their Memorial Day sale. So I'm gonna go to the left where they have their little hamburger. That's what it's called. It looks like a little hamburger if you look at it with the lines. You can do shop, new brands, sale, anything you like. I'm gonna go down to brands just like I did last time. The first time I went through featured brands and only found one drugstore line, which was the e.l.f. Cosmetics line. There's Conscious Beauty, which I have a very mixed relationship with. So I don't really buy many Conscious Beauty specifically focused products. If that's an added bonus, I do. And I'd like to try more. I just have so much inconsistency in the products. So let's go down to Black Owned and Founded and see what is going on there. I went and kind of looked through this briefly before the video, and a lot of these brands I don't actually know, which made me sad because I was, there's all these brands. I think, let's see, that's six right there under Fenty, and that's six right there. So there's 12 brands, and I only know two of them. And so they might not all be they might not all be makeup brands, um, but but some of them are. And so with Fenty Beauty, I actually have very limited exposure to it, and it's not considered to be in the drugstore section. Um, and I actually did not, it was when the first foundation dropped, and wasn't a fan of it. But I've seen a lot of people have really good results with Fenty. And I think that they're kind of doing kind of like a new wave of campaigns. So I'm excited to see how that turns out. I hope it's not like here's the lip oil and then we're falling off the map again. So I can't wait to see what Rihanna does because love her. But I do have more experience with Juvia's Place. In fact, I'm wearing some now of that shimmer, like liquid eyeshadow that I'm wearing in between the blue is Juvia's Place. So let's go to Juvia's Place because I feel like people really loved it and talked about it so much for a while and then kind of fell off of it. So let's talk about Juvia's Place, see what they have going on right now, and see if we like the products. So it starts off with a couple different blushes that they offer. This one I haven't tried. It looks like a cream blush. Then they have their liquid blushes, which are very popular. I've said it a million times. I'm not a huge liquid blush fan, so these are never going to be for me. However, I've seen great results with them. If you like a lot of blush, like very pigmented blush, these are great options in addition to the e.l.f. ones. I found that these Looking at these tend to pack a little bit more punch, especially on melanated skin, relative to the e.l.f. products. And then I actually have two of these and have been thinking about ordering a third one. I love it. It comes with two different colors of blush. They're both so beautiful, and I think they might have like six or seven different duos. And here they are, first and foremost. I know that this is kind of out of order, but that's okay. So this is the blush duo. It says it's online only, but I did get mine in store. I actually have this exact color. So this one comes with a darker kind of like fuchsia and then a really light pink. So this is the color volume 4. The naming conventions of these I find a little like, if someone was like, hey, get volume 3, it would be easier to get the wrong one. But describing them, because they are so different, I think would be pretty easy. So I have this one, and then I have this one. I have volume 6. So there's 6 different shades. This one has a really bright, rich orange, and then also has this lighter, more pastel-y orange, and so it helps it blend more easily into the skin, gives more dimension to the blush, looks wonderful. The one that I really want is this one, I believe. So this is volume 1. It says deep earthy tones, and it's got this kind of like maroon color right here, and then this pumpkin color right here. And oh my gosh, it's calling to my heart so deeply. But there are other colors if those are a little bit too intense for you. They are very pigmented. However, they're not the type of pigmented where um, like you barely touch your brush and then you touch your brush to your face and it's like it's easy to build. I would say that if this is your first time ever using blush, this might be a little bit too intense for you. But if you've had any practice, I definitely think it's possible to make this work. And like $18, yes, I know the price is a little steep for drugstore. However, these are really good blushes, and I really do like them. The formula is nice, blends really beautifully. You can go from a really subtle look to a really dramatic look there. So next we have the bronze duo right here, which is kind of sneaking in on the side. Now, I have not tried any of their bronze duos. Let's see kind of what they look like. So they have 5 colors, and it's based on depth of skin tone. So if I look at the lightest color, that definitely looks like something I could wear as a very fair person. And then as we get deeper and deeper, let's kind of see. Um, I think that that might be appropriate for a medium skin tone, maybe a little bit light depending on how you define your medium. Tan, I think that's nice. I think this color is gorgeous. Oh my gosh, just everywhere. Just put it all over me. It's beautiful. And then this is the dark. Oh, mm, it reminds me kind of that maroon blush, and that color is just gorgeous. Gives some warmth. And then finally we have what is deep dark? Yep. Okay, so we have this beautiful, beautiful chocolatey color, and then we have this. And I think that these would do a great job at warming up the skin, which is what bronzer is for. Bronzer is not meant to be cool. Bronzer is meant to be warmer tones, warm up the skin, give the skin a little bit more life, and also like you've gone out in the sun or you're doing things, and I feel like these seem to fit the bill. I believe, did it say that they were the same price? So these are actually $22, so they're a little bit more expensive. They do look like good products, and if they're the same quality of powder, I would think that they were good. So again, we have the same things. Next, we have the I Am Magic concealer. For me, I have put this on my hand before, and I was like, this is gonna be too thick for what I need. I think it said it had 24 colors. I mean, that looks like almost straight up black. It's very, very deep, but it's not quite black. We're not getting a euphoria type situation. And then, so we're going, let's see, so they said they had 24. So let's see, so it looks like there's five in the deep dark, and then in the dark there's four, and then in tan there's five, medium tan there's four, and then what do they classify this as? That's still medium. Okay, so we're going into medium, and then let's see when they get up to light and fair. So they have this light as 21, 22 is light, and then they usually switch over to a fair around here. So fair is usually where I have to settle. But a great shade range, I think that these are, there aren't as many super light shades as some other brands, but who cares? I think that having this range is very important. They are considering different undertones, it seems, cool undertones, warm undertones. Um, I'm not seeing anything that's saying specifically olive. Just warm, cool, or neutral. So knowing how to find your shades within that. I love swatches like this that are on someone's arm because I feel like I can really see what it looks like, even if it's not a skin tone that is the same as mine. I feel like it does really help. But you can see the distribution. Oh, I don't, that's too big. You can see the distribution of color, how they do have their like deep dark, and then they move to dark, and then they move to the different kind of groups of color. I think that there's a good spacing between 9 and 8. There, maybe you could fit a shade, but I don't mind it by any means, and I feel like there's good. Um, it's hard to get a good representation of undertones on one person's skin. So trying them out is definitely helpful if you can. Not always possible, but if you can. But for me, this was really thick, and where I apply my concealer under my eyes and things like that, I felt like this was going to crease really badly. It's $16. A lot of people really like it. The people who like to wear like full beads, they love this product. But those people were also just like younger, had like really few skin concerns that I saw when this product came out a couple years ago, and they also just they didn't have fine lines and stuff that they were working around. So I don't know. Next we have, so that is in 24 colors, $16. Has 4-star review. Next we have the Juvia's Place Luxe Lip Liners. I only have one of these, and I have it in a brown tone. It's very beautiful. The one problem I have is that the end is a little thick, and so getting some really finessed details into it can be a little bit difficult. And also, I'm just a big fan of I'm a big fan of sharpeners on the end of these types of pencils. Like I'm trying to find something that like is standard, so you can see how big this is. Let me reach for this. So this is just a regular highlighter, and this is how big the pencil is, and so you can see how large that lip liner is. It's creamy enough. It's not overly creamy. I would say it leans more towards creamy than waxy, and than thick, and feels like it's going to stay put. So I'm not totally in love with the lip liners. If I'm gonna be honest, I'd rather be able to buy like two NYX lip liners for the same price. because I know what I'm getting. I know I can work with it a little bit easier, and the getting it sharp so that I can do my details is a little bit more important to me. But 12 colors, let's see the color range. So for me, like a lot of these aren't incredibly interesting. So they have one kind of like light nudish, nudish, soft brown beige, and then they have some like deeper purple Scorpio. You always get me with a Scorpio name. Um, this is brown. Actually I have brownie. That's the one I have. So they're all deeper shades, which I do recognize that Juvia's Place is definitely a brand that is more targeted in general, especially in complexion and certain products towards deeper skin tones. So seeing deeper skin tones here doesn't offend me that there aren't a ton of super light ones. Um, and in fact, I don't, when I see a super light one, I'm like, meh. So yeah, that $13 isn't bad. If you like to fill in your whole lip with a lip liner and you kind of you always do the same shape, you're very comfortable with it, this is not a bad liner. But for me it's just it's meh. I'd rather go with NYX personally. Okay, so next we have the liquid blush, which I have not tried. I've tried on the back of my hand to make sure that the pigment that I'm seeing on videos is accurate to the pigment that is showing up in store, and I do agree that these are crazy pigmented. If you like, you really start with like the smallest amount. I actually would like to see more people applying it with a brush, like putting it on a palette, back of their hand, getting a brush or a beauty blender, and then applying it. I feel like it would be a lot more buildable then. Uh, because people are applying it directly in dots to their face. When I see people apply it, I just get really worried that they're gonna have like dots left on their face. If it removes any makeup or the makeup gets concentrated around where the dot was placed. So for me, I don't like that application, but that's not what Juvia's Place did. That's how people are applying it. And if it works for them, it works for them. So I think it said I need to kind of read it better. I think it said 12 colors. So lots of colors, and even the super light colors, like this Blush Lily, they are truly just very, very pigmented. I feel like those are like on ribbons or something. Um, but yeah, so if you look at kind of what that lightest color, every time I move my mouse, it zooms in. But if you look at that lightest color, it's so saturated in pigment, it's going to show up on the cheek really well. Will that undertone flatter your skin tone based on what you think flatters it? Maybe, maybe not. Some people with warmer skin don't like cooler blushes, but there is an array of color options that are really beautiful. I would like to see this range extended because a lot of people really like this. I'm not going to use it, but I would really like to see it extended because I think that that's a really good opportunity. So next we have the I Am Magic Silky Finishing Powder. Now again we have the using the naming of another product that people really like and using it to sell other products. For me, I don't know anything about this product. I have not heard a single person, I think, talk about it. It comes in 8 different colors. So it comes in a white, um, and this is a translucent powder, correct? It says finishing powder. So then it comes in a pink. It looks like it comes in like maybe a corrective. Nope. So it looks like it's just used to match your skin tone, but it's in a loose powder, and it goes all the way down to a brown sugar color, which will fit most deep dark shades. That matches looks like it matches pretty similar to the chestnut shade that I have from Ben Nye. And you know, I don't find many people that are like need a setting powder much deeper than that. So it looks like it can fit a wide variety of people. I just feel like I wish there was a translucent in here um, that didn't look ashy on any of these skin tones. Uh, but I can't verify that this is a good powder. Let's kind of see the reviews. Okay, but let's read a little bit about it. Instant perfection to any makeup base. Sensorial loose powder is silky. So they're trying to tell you if you just felt it, you'd be like, wow, so silky, and leaves a blurred effect on the skin for a flawless makeup application. Pair with their OG setting powder for a baked and brighter effect. So they're trying to also sell you on other things. So not only the concealer, but it looks like they're going to have a setting powder with the same I Am Magic name. And again, we get that name recognition and get people buying it. I do like that they changed the colors of the tops. If you're a makeup artist and you have this in your kit, it's going to be easier to identify the right colors. Um, so that's nice. 8 colors, yep. And $25, it feels a little bit steep. It feels a little bit on the luxury side of pricing for powders, if you ask me. I think that my Ben Nye colors are like $8 to $12 a piece. Let me at least look at the ounceage on this or grams. So this is the color topaz, which is not the color I was just talking about. But let's see. So it is talc free, which I don't believe that these are talc free. Okay, so the luxury powder is talc free. I stand corrected. It's no flashback, super important, sebum control. So keeps the oils from coming out. Non-comedogenic, won't make you break out. Love that. But I'm always like, give me like a freaking size. The thing about Juvia's places, as far as I know, it's only sold at Ulta, and Ulta likes to kind of skip out on the deets of how like much powder and stuff you're getting. Let me see if I can. This might mess up the view. Okay, so I went down. I could not find the ounceage. So like I said, this is probably 9 or so. This is probably like $8 to $12 where I got it. This is the color topaz. The back says 1.5 ounces, but the front says 1.2 ounces. So maybe the package weight is 1.5 ounces, but the powder inside of it is 1.2. That's what I would assume. And so this is the topaz. That's not is like this color. So maybe just a little tiny bit lighter than um so hard to tell with pictures too. Yeah, so this is lighter than that, but still fairly dark. They do have a color darker than this, maybe 2 colors darker. So there are options if you're finding that the Ben Nye ones aren't working and they are cheaper and they are like an industry standard for makeup artists. So that's a little bit annoying that I can't just like look at compare like ounce to ounce. Okay, so 4.6 stars and 19 reviews. Not a lot of reviews. Not a lot of people are talking about this, like I said. 75% would recommend this product to a friend. So a lot of people either gave it 5 stars or, you know, not much. And then people didn't fill out the pros and cons. So someone said it might replace their Huda Beauty, which, a lot of people really like. So they typically mix the banana bread and the blondie shades, or blondie on its own. But testing the Juvia powder and cookie dough has got me saying who to who. Oh my gosh, that the shade is perfect for me, and it is great when you find like a shade that's right for you, so you don't have to blend your own. That is saving money for sure. And then the most helpful critical review, 1 star, cookie dough or don't. This powder is coarse and dry. Reminds me of cornmeal, so it's not as finely milled as maybe some other powders. Too thick for under eye and looks dry and ashy when applied all over. So that could be a color thing, but it also seems like the texture and consistency isn't great. Applied using a puff and different brushes, end result is still the same. So they did a bunch of different methods of trying to make this work, and it just didn't seem like it worked. Um, after Even after a liberal dose of makeup setting spray, still appeared dry and sits on top of the skin. I don't, and so, um, so some people really like it. It looks like the shades are good, but it seems, with the exception of it being the wrong color on that one person, but texture might be an issue. So, um, with more finely milled powder, it's gonna make things look smoother. It's gonna feel more comfortable on the face. Generally, it's gonna last a little bit longer. And yeah, so I just feel like $25. I'm not really feeling that price. Because Huda Beauty, like, isn't it like $36 or something for theirs? And then there's powders all over the place from um, different places. So I have tried this on the back of my hand. This is full, you are casket ready level coverage. It comes in 42 colors, which this, when we're talking about color expansion, this is like a number that feeds my soul really well, as long as they're colors that people can actually wear, right? Because 42 colors that people can't wear doesn't really matter. However, Juvia's Place has always been really solid in my eyes of making inclusive colors, and I love that. So when this came out, people were raving about it, especially the super full coverage queens, about how high coverage it was. When I put it on, it was like I put it on the back of my hand, and I was like, this feels like toothpaste. It is so thick. And yeah, it thins out from a toothpaste thickness to makeup, but it's still a very thick formula. It is thickums for sure. So this is $22, and comes in like a butt load of shades. I mean, is just 100 is Sudan, the deepest, darkest shade with cool undertone. And then we move into 110, which is Senegal, and for the deepest, darkest shade with a neutral undertone. So they're thinking about undertones as well, which I feel like not only is that being inclusive, but it's really thinking like people who have different skin tones also have different undertones under that. And to me, that's just very important. So to see all these different options is wonderful. However, oh my goodness, was this stuff so thick? Like, just like look at that, just like brushstroke of just its complete coverage. And let's see it on the face. I mean, undeniably gorgeous, right? So this is the color Molly 130. Scroll up a little bit so you can see a little bit better. It looks wonderful on this model. I do think that there might be some texture retouching, unless it says otherwise, which I'm always like, show me what it really looks like. Don't don't try to play me. Um, but or it's like powdered, so it's blurred a little bit. I hate that it's zooming in. I apologize. I'm sure that's really annoying. So this, I feel like there was a little bit retouching. You can see that the shape of her nose is slightly thinner, and the way it's kind of highlighted and things like that. She has lashes on. Her eyebrows are done. So, there's just other components in this picture that we want to make sure we consider. However, does this color look beautiful on her? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's freaking gorgeous. But you can't quite tell if it's like a cakey makeup or thin makeup or if it's coloring discoloration because these models aren't having a ton of discoloration. And when I want to see before and afters, especially for a thick, high coverage foundation like this, give me someone who has something to cover. I'm just saying. So here again, so they kept a small bump in her nose, but still we have some highlight here, and that could just be light. But they definitely did some contouring and bronzing in the cheeks, and the way that they did her lip, they highlighted this area here. You can see that this area is smaller than this area right here, so they highlighted right under this area with a powder. I feel like the color looks beautiful. I do feel like um, this is gonna be, unless they put a ton of concealer here, this is going to be show how high coverage the foundation is. But with other makeup going on and potential retouching, I don't like this. This is Cairo 600. I love how it is named after all of the shades that we've looked at so far are named after countries in Africa. I think that's really beautiful. And then we can see all of the different people who these makeup colors would align with. And so people can look and see people who look like them and say, okay, yes, I feel like um, that is an accurate color match. So I'm really loving the way that they set this up. I don't know if I've ever seen it quite like this, and I'm really feeling the setup. So great job at this kind of lineup situation. For me, this makes my brain go like, "Yep, I know exactly what I would pick." Which is interesting because I probably would have picked this color, and I think I probably would need this color. Just looking at how it sits on the face, but it looks beautiful. But from what I recall, it is very thick. So if you want full coverage, this is the foundation. It's thick. So these aren't light makeup days when you're wearing this. Longwear lip liner, $13. They have their other lip liner that's the thicker one for $14. I haven't tried this. I still say go to NYX because I don't know anything about these, but I just don't see how they're going to be more just worthwhile with NYX on the table. So next we have the Culture 2 palette. So I've kind of like played with it with the display a little bit. All of the colors are insanely gorgeous. The mattes are very pigmented. The shimmers look great when you swipe them with your finger. However, I feel like they are best applied with your finger on your lid or wherever you're putting the shadow, because I do find that they're packed so densely that that getting them on the eye with a brush is a little bit difficult. This palette and the Culture One palette, I like them both. People who have tried them both say that they like Culture 2 a little bit better with the formula, um, but uh, but both are great, and they have such a wide variety of colors. I feel like this could really inspire you to be really creative. If this kind of array and arrangement of colors kind of feels too much for you, then they do have palettes that are a little bit more guiding in their principle. Um, but yeah, if you see all these colors and you're like, what do I do? Then there are other palettes definitely out there. The I Am Magic Natural Radiance Foundation. I have not heard anyone talk about this. This comes in 30 colors, so less colors than the other foundation, I believe. $23. Haven't heard anything about it. Um, and 362 reviews. You can see the deeper, darker shades. They didn't stick to as much in this one, and I am curious to see why. Light and hardworking, this water-resistant formula will naturally minimize imperfections to smooth, protect, and hydrate skin with long-lasting results. Okay, give me the deets. Natural radiant finish, medium coverage, long wear. I don't know what these cherries are and what they do for the skin. Rich in vitamin A and C. So whenever something has vitamin A, so just so you know, and I might have it backwards, but like retinols are a derivative of vitamin A. Again, I might have to switch. But wearing them every day can be quite drying. C is hydrating, but it has to be small enough to penetrate your skin. So, so like you want sunscreen if you're wearing vitamin A because you're wearing a retinoid. And so there's no sunscreen in this, unless there's sunscreen in the cherry somehow, which I doubt it. So I feel like I don't like seeing the A and C together, and not having some sun protection and not even mentioning sun protection in it, and making it seem like the A is hydrating the skin because it's doing the opposite. Wearing it every day also, like, I imagine that helps the long wear by drying it out a little bit, but wearing it every day I feel like could start to dry your skin out over time, even though this is meant to be a lightweight coverage foundation. Also, I'm not a huge fan of these like tubes with pumps. I just don't. I feel like I'm always leaving up a lot of product behind, even when I go and dig in. So that came in 30 colors. So next we have the blush cream blush. I've gone through my cream blush phase. It comes in 8 colors. I bet it's going to be a little less pigmented than the other two blush options we have, but it might be great for layering. And it does come in 8 different shades, ranging from the lightest, which is Charming Coral, which is a nude coral, which looks like a very nice color. And then it goes all the way down into a terracotta, which is a deep chocolate. I love brown blushes. I think that they're incredibly underrated. Brown blushes and then true purples, not purples that turn into pinks, but actual purples. I love them. So to me, this is great. I'm still like, I see so few people wearing red blushes, that I'm kind of wondering, like, why does a red blush continue to come in every blush set? Because I just don't feel like as many people wear them. If you wear red blush, like red, like actual red blush, not like strong pink blush that turns pink, let me know if I'm totally disillusioned about people wearing red blush, because I haven't seen people wear it in a very long time. And so I'm always like, why is that included? Put a color that pops. It makes it a little bit more interesting. Here's the first culture palette. This one I feel like is a little bit easier to read if you're if you're a beginner, because you have this kind of row right here of this like warm like oranges, reds, yellows. Next is a green row. Next is a pink row. Next is whatever this row is, blue, and then purple. So for me, this is a very accessible palette, for people who are beginning to put looks together, and then also for people who are more comfortable, they can just pop around and feel good. And $38 for a let's see, so it's 6 by 5, so that's 30 colors. So it's a little bit more than $1 per color, and these are really great quality shadows. Like I said, with the shimmers, I do still feel like they're best applied. Like apply them with a brush, and you can either put glitter glue down or just use your finger and put them on. Some people like to put a fixing or setting spray onto the brush and then pick them up. For me, I find that I always get way more shine just doing the finger method if possible. Um, Nude velvety matte lipstick. I feel like velvety and matte are kind of a little bit of an oxymoron when it comes to makeup. It's only in 12 colors. I think they kind of knew that this wasn't like the gonna be a big seller, which is why they have fewer colors. I hate the shape of the bullet because once you start wearing it down, you're gonna get this weird shape, and the colors are just like whatever. Like to me, like this is something that people are gonna. I mean, that's beautiful. I always love a brown lip, but everything else, I'm just a little bit like, like it does provide like a wide variety of nudes, and I know a lot of these colors that seem too bright when you put brown lip liner around them do look fabulous. I'm really interested in this color right here, Lady, because it is a very interesting undertone. But I mean, those two are almost the same. So these two are almost the same. This one's a little bit more plum. I mean, all of those on the right side, I mean, they're not that different. I just, I'm not getting excited about like regular lipstick again. However, I am a liquid lipstick kind of person because I find that they wear so much longer and better on me, or I'll do a lip liner and gloss or some kind of situation. I'm not wearing bullet lipsticks much, so. Next, we have some magic lip oils. They're $12. I think the ones from NYX, the Fat Lip ones are like $7 to $9. Then Elf has some. I don't hear anybody talking about these. The doe foot looks weird. Um, Maybe it's just because of the blob on top, but like that curve looks strange. You can get that looked at. So these appear to be flavored. Let's check. Yeah, so they're flavored rather than having color. So just like a nice thing to pop on your lips, make them feel moisturized, and give a little gloss look, not for color. Okay, so that's different. I feel like that's in a different category than trying to like give your lips color. So next is the Culture 2 liquid shadows. I am wearing one now. I am wearing a Jabo. I hope I said that right. Ajebo. There are only a few colors, and I felt like I wanted to have at least one in my kit, but I wanted to have something that was um, uh, a little bit more versatile. So I picked this one, which is, they don't describe it, which I feel like is a pretty big missed opportunity because it does look like that in person on camera, but when you put it on like my skin tone, it is a duochrome that is gold and green. So I wish they would say that in the description so that you would know what you were getting, because these pictures are not helping. Let's see this picture right here if they show the shift. Nope, they're just going to show what it looks like in the bottle. You can kind of see the shift, like right here, you can see the shift between the orange and the green right there. Here you can see the orange and the blue. So you can kind of see it, but it is a little bit more difficult. I would feel like this would be harder to buy online unless you're like, I just like duochromes, I like blue, you know. But I do have this one. I don't apply this directly to my eye. It doe foot applicator that's kind of like it's like a little stick almost. It is normal size, and then it's kind of like pinched, so that you can really lay the product down. I will say that getting an even application with this is not always easy, and it does dry down very quickly, but it does last very long. So I really like this as a liquid eyeshadow. With as someone with oily eyes, this does not come off of me. So I really like it. Would I buy more colors? Probably not, unless I had an occasion that called for it. Just because this is the type of product that I could buy. It fills up my kit. I never use it, and then it expires, and then I'm like, well, I'm up a creek, and I can't just be throwing around that money like that. Okie dokie. So the bronze cream bronzer. That name is terrible, right? Okay, so I just feel like your level of control and application with this is going to be so difficult. For me, I know where I like to place my bronzer, my contour, everything like that. Sorry, I didn't mean to do whatever I did. For me, I feel like I would just have so little control over how I applied things. And I feel like things would get really muddy really fast. To me, the precision component is totally lost in this product. Um, I feel like I've seen a couple people use it, and when they do use it, they're like, it's so great. And then I feel like it looks more muddy than their bronzer normally looks, and more muddy than I would normally have my bronzer look. So, no judgment. That's just, kind of what I think. So, they have 7 colors in here. So, it looks like the lightest color is buttercream. And, okay, I was like, that looks really dark. So, this looks like it could fit me. It looks like it might be a little teeny bit orange. And then the deepest shade they have in here is, and obviously the middle shades do matter. And I feel like sometimes it's always like, because I know a lot of people, like Darcy and, oh my gosh, my brain is fucking blanking. I know that there are a lot of people on TikTok and Instagram who talk about the darkest shade of different lines. And while I've seen the extension of darkest shades, I feel like the middle shades are still not getting some love, or um or like deep is not getting enough attention, but deep dark is, just because they want to show that they know that they're going to end up on TikTok, so they want people to think that they are more inclusive than they are. So still feel like there's a possibility. Like here's not too bad, but in other things, I'm like, I feel like you didn't really pay attention to that in between range because you're just kind of looking for that clout. Juvia's Place, not so much. Okay, so here's the powder foundation that was mentioned before. I don't love powder foundation. I just never have been able to really make it work in my favor. Um, uh, I mean, occasionally I'll put a little bit on and be like all right, but I just don't really care about it. It doesn't excite me. It comes in 20 colors. It can come in less colors because generally powder foundation isn't as pigmented, so it can kind of stretch its shade range a little bit. 18 bucks, not out of hand, but not the best. I don't I don't know about this one, which I think is what I said about another pressed powder with Elf. I'm gonna go on to the coffee shop palette. This is really nice if you like nudes, and kind of gray cool tones as well. Um, to me, I don't like wearing nudes, but for some reason this is a really exciting palette to me. So it's 16 colors for $25. So 16 times 2 is 32. So it's a little under, uh, it's like 150 per shadow. And the shadows are so solid with Juvia's Place that I would not have a problem with getting that. I think that that would be a great addition to anyone's kit, or anyone who's trying to learn makeup. I feel like that would be a good one. So now we have blush lighter, so I have not heard anyone talking about this. Comes in 7 colors, and they probably just put a pearlescent, uh, like mica powder to make it kind of shimmery. It looks like the colors are a little. Are they different? I don't know. Um, let's see if we can see. Yeah, so there. If we look really closely, this one has a gold kind of shimmer reflect in it. And some people really like having a little glow to their blush. I don't, but if you like that, cool. You know, that's an option. It looks like the same price, I think, as the other one. So just keep in mind that like, if you want either the blush or the blush lighter, make sure you know which one you're getting because they look exactly the same. Volumizing gloss stick comes in 12 colors. This looks a little bit like the MAC like plump up stick that people had like falling apart on their lips. So they have blackberry, and this looks like maybe a clear, and then some like neutral colors. You know, when I see things like this, I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this like information right here? It just shows it rolled up, and the package matches exactly the um, the color. So I don't know the pigment level. It's not swatched on any hands or anything like that, any skin tones. So I just don't know like how much pigment's in it. But I do, you know, these colors are alright. You know, I like seeing colors like this that are a little bit more, you know, daring for a lot of skin tones. So sure, $15, a little bit much, but if it's nice, let's see what's in it. Let's see if there's anything that they say that's in it that's like, whoa, that really stands out. Juvia's Place Volumizing Gloss Sticks feature a non-sticky, lightweight formula that provides a gorgeous, shiny look and all-day hydration. Okay, botanical oils, vague, shea butter, which, you know, we can get shea butter for real cheap. Rich pigment, so they're saying it does have a lot of pigment to deliver high shine and nourishment to the lips. The oils infused into the lips, delivering a natural volumizing plump. So they're also saying that there's volumizing um, uh, properties to it, but it doesn't say it anywhere else, right? Like even in the name, it's not like. Well, I guess actually it says it right there. Literally first word, volumizing. So, but like sometimes just the effect of gloss can make lips look bigger. Um, so I wonder if that claim is actually true. So let's find a good place to stop. Um, I'll stop here because I don't know anything about them. I feel like I just saw someone use this radiance booster, but let's go to this coffee shop lip gloss first. So there's 12 colors. It's a lip gloss, $14, which is not bad for a lip gloss. Really skinny little applicator right there where we're seeing a lot of really thick fat applicators and everything else. Um, and so lots of different coffee themed. Uh, let's see. So yeah, like really rich in pigment. I mean, that to show up on that light of lips, and then let's see what the lights show up on the darker complexions. So with darker complexions, they're showing up pretty well. It looks like they did put a lip liner and blend this one, but it looks so good. Looks amazing. Okay, new generation of hydrating creamy lip glosses that leave lips with an ultra glassy shine and lasting hydration on the lips. Okay, lasting hydration with superfood ingredients. I don't know what putting superfoods on your lips is gonna do, if I'm gonna be honest. Um, Again, like how is it gonna get into your skin? I'm not sure. Smooth lips, which a lot of glosses will do, if there's enough pigment in it. So it looks like there's enough pigment where it would smooth out lines. The only thing is if you do have fine lines around your lips, um, there can occasionally be some bleeding. That's why lip liner is really great because that waxy, that waxy kind of perimeter that you put around your mouth can keep the gloss in. And then it says cocoa butter and vitamin E, which we all know are great ingredients for skincare. Cocoa butter is a little bit more occlusive, so it's going to keep water from evaporating from your skin, so it's going to keep the moisture in. And then vitamin E is great at penetrating and doing a great job in taking care of the skin. So for me, this looks like a win. I'm glad to have this be one of the ending ones. I don't like the doe foot though. I will say that. Now this has 13 colors. The I Am Magic Glow Radiance Booster, and I feel like I saw Michaela use it, and I was not quite sure about it. So, Juvia's Place I Am Magic Radiance Booster is a visionary product, okay, slow your roll, with outstanding highlighting features infused into low coverage and perfect tinted formulas. Details, okay, boost subtle yet blah blah blah, micro shimmer, um, light reflection, tinted, porcelain flower extract. Are they making up flowers at this point? It's probably like, I mean, there's so many flowers. I don't know. I don't know anything about horticulture. Moisture and brightening effect. Which putting some shimmering on your face will do. Paraben, phthalates, and non-comedogenic ingredients. Well, that's cool that you're putting non-comedogenic ingredients on the lips. Oh wait, no, this is on the face. So I feel like I saw whoever I saw use this on top of their foundation, and they strategically applied the glow booster in places where they wanted more glow, like a more natural glow, and it just kind of fused on top of their foundation before they powdered it. I really wish I could remember who it was. And so that kind of just gave them a little bit more glow. Now there aren't a ton of colors. I didn't count is that 13 colors right there? It's $25, which I feel like is pretty expensive. I would like a little bit more detail on what this a magical shimmer is and these magical flowers are to justify this price, because otherwise, like, you're selling me like a liquid highlighter that's pretty dull compared to other highlighters. The color range, uh, like, what happened here? Um, so this is a little bit confusing, I think, to see that. I wish they showed it on the skin so we could see it, but I'm really not. This does not please me. Um, Cameroon, maybe Zahara Benet. Um, yeah, I'm like, what happened between these two? And there's Mali point 0.5 and Malawi. So maybe they're going to expand the shade range if people are interested, and that's why they did the point 0.5. I've seen that happen in other lines. So, yeah, if you've tried this in any specific way to bring some kind of vibrancy and life to your skin, um, when you were ultra matte, I think this is a great way to add uh, kind of some life back to your skin without oiliness, which is intriguing to me as someone who is just oily. So I could blot and still have, you know, kind of some life to my face. So we went through quite a few products, about an hour's worth of products, and yes, there's always more. There's always so many products that we can get to. We have this, and oh my gosh, this looks so good. I will say that for me, I don't know if I've had from what I've bought, I don't think I've had any misses with Juvia's. What the fuck? I was combining Juvia and Nubian, and I just sorry. So I don't think I've had any misses with things that I've bought from Juvia's place. That doesn't mean that I'm not looking at things and touching things in stores and being like, I don't think this is gonna work for me. Because if I feel it in store and I'm thinking it's not gonna work for me, I'm not gonna go buy it. Just for the sake of buying it, doing a wear test to find that it doesn't work for me. So a lot of these products that I did say that I was like, I'm not gonna buy this. I could have tried them in store, or I could just have like a feeling based on other things about them. If you disagree with me, if you agree with me, if you've tried some things and I was way off base, please let me know. If any of these products work for you, let me know. I am really interested to see, especially in the complexion products, how how because their first foundation, as far as I remember, was that really thick foundation, and now they have that like tinted foundation, and I'm really interested to see the transition to a lighter coverage foundation, if they did it really well or if they kind of flopped on it, because it's really easy to start with like one far side of a product and then try to kind of get the same results on a very different product and it not land. I have not heard anyone talking about the tinted product. However, a lot of the people I watch do wear a lot of full coverage makeup, so that's part of it as well. So if you try any of these, if you like any of these, if you don't like any of these, please let me know. And if you want to see a specific brand, let me know. I'll try to do my research as best I can. I have fun doing this. I have fun talking about makeup, and it's like window shopping for me. So it gets a little bit of my impulsivity out. So thank you for going through this with me. It does feel like window shopping for me, and that feels really fun to do that and not feel obligated to get things, because I just got to talk about them and got to talk about makeup and makeup composition and ingredients and pigments and color ranges, all the things that I'm super passionate about. So I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, any brands that you want to see, if you have any agreements or disagreements, or any kind of thoughts at all about it, please let me know. I would be happy to hear them. Yes, so I will talk to you later, and thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Bye.